Scuderia Ferrari's current downturn has significantly impacted Charles Leclerc. After his splendid victory on the streets of Monte Carlo in Monaco, the Monegasque driver has only managed to score 12 points in the subsequent 4 rounds of the 2024 Formula One Championship, including the sprint race at the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg. This is a clearly disappointing tally for someone who seemed to have reignited his championship hopes following his late May win on the streets of the Principality. Charles Leclerc has since faced numerous issues, starting with the reliability of the SF24 single-seater. This problem plagued him throughout May, with multiple power unit changes between Imola and Monaco, culminating in a mechanical failure at the Montreal circuit that led to an unexpected and disheartening retirement. The first real indication of Ferrari's struggles came at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona. The updates introduced there did not deliver the expected results, instead raising significant questions about the effectiveness of Ferrari's development strategies. The re-emergence of porpoising and a sudden drop to being the fourth strongest team, behind a rapidly improving Mercedes, underscored these issues. In the recent races, Charles Leclerc finished outside the points, including a 7th-place finish in the Spielberg sprint. A combination of strategic missteps, aggressive moves from rivals, and a malfunctioning car has led to weeks of genuine frustration for the Monegasque driver, which has been evident in his post-session interviews. After Charles Leclerc's victory in front of his home fans, Scuderia Ferrari seems lost, unable to continue the growth that started at the end of 2023. According to many, this improvement should have allowed the Maranello team, with the ongoing developments, to compete on equal terms with Red Bull and McLaren for significant goals in the 2024 Formula One campaign. However, Ferrari has proven, even at the Silverstone circuit, to be the fourth force on the field behind McLaren, Red Bull, and Mercedes, still struggling with understanding the SF24 and managing the tires, which remains enigmatic for the technicians and still dealing with porpoising. This phenomenon, which seemed to have disappeared, reappeared after the developments introduced in Spain, a phenomenon not visible from the data, which is shaking the driver's confidence and causing harmful effects on the car's stability and tires, leading the technicians to question the reliability of the latest version of the SF24 and to conduct comparative tests in England. Charles Leclerc with the evolved car and Carlos Sainz with the Imola spec. These tests ultimately led to the decision to use the car without the latest improvements, a step back to maximize performance. This decision, made to maximize the driver's confidence in the car, making it more stable in fast corners and performance, did not bring the desired results, as Ferrari finished the British race in 5th place with Carlos Sainz and out of the points with Charles Leclerc, also due to a strategic error. It was a negative weekend, the third in a row for the Monegasque, which both the team and the driver want to put behind them as soon as possible, starting from the next Hungarian Grand Prix in Budapest. To do this, it will be necessary to extract the maximum potential from the car, which at the Hungaroring circuit will use the Barcelona specification, with more load in slow corners, and have drivers free from mistakes. Charles Leclerc has appeared noticeably frustrated, likely not anticipating such a drastic drop in performance after his Monaco win, which seems to have dampened his spirits. While this is a subjective impression, it's clear that the Ferrari driver has been notoriously unlucky, as evidenced repeatedly over the years. This is not to make excuses for Charles Leclerc, who bears some responsibility for mistakes like his, off in Q3 in Austria, and the ill-fated decision at the Silverstone circuit to switch to intermediate tires while the track was still dry. However, these errors also highlight the disarray within Ferrari, which extends beyond just technical issues. Charles Leclerc's frustration is understandable, but the Maranello team and fate are not helping him. The broken front wing at the start in the Austrian Grand Prix, caused by a minor collision with Oscar Piastri, can't be blamed on him. Without his Q3 mistake, he might have gained 1 or 2 grid positions, but it wouldn't have been a front-row start. The lack of a safety car further condemned him to an 11th place finish. In the British Grand Prix, the decision to use intermediate tires was shared, based on specific information provided to Charles Leclerc, which unfortunately turned out to be inaccurate. Many believe that the Monegasque, officially the lead driver for the Italian side this year, tends to overperform out of frustration with being behind Carlos Sainz and not having a competitive car. This perceived overperformance could be seen as a natural human reaction to Ferrari's chronic and somewhat inexplicable decline. Charles Leclerc's talent is undeniable, and it is clear that Ferrari has made the right decision by offering him a long-term contract without lacking any respect to Carlos Sainz, who remains a very solid driver, but has not proven the high levels the Monegasque has shown over the years. Charles Leclerc needs a calm environment, like any driver, in order to achieve results. Moreover, he needs a technical team capable of providing a winning car. Frédéric Vasseur is restructuring, with few remnants of Mattia Binotto's management left. Time will tell if these ongoing changes, along with Hamilton's potential arrival, will positively shift Ferrari's recent Formula One history. Still, Charles Leclerc has expressed confidence Ferrari can soon fight again for race victories. The Italian squad began the season in strong fashion and appeared as the second fastest team, capturing race wins in Australia and Monaco. However, Ferrari has slipped back in the pecking order at recent rounds, with McLaren and Mercedes making a step forward. The Monegasque insists the Italian side has the pace with its current car to fight for wins, but states uncovering its potential is proving to be a sticking point. Charles Leclerc expressed his belief that Ferrari has the pace with its current car to compete for wins, but acknowledged that uncovering its potential remains a significant challenge. He conveyed confidence that if Ferrari can make the expected improvements soon, they will be in a position to fight for race victories. He emphasized that the difference is only about 2 or 3 tenths, which is significant in the current context. However, he remains optimistic that once the existing issues are resolved and the package is optimized, those 2 or 3 tenths will be regained. Scuderia Ferrari recently conducted various test programs on its car during the Silverstone race weekend to better understand its limitations. Charles Leclerc is confident that once the team uncovers the root of its struggles, they can rejoin the fight at the front of the field. He believes that finding and consistently placing the car in the right performance window is key. The Ferrari driver noted that the issues in Montreal were not due to the package, but related to other factors, and emphasized that despite hard work in the last 2 races, there is still progress to be made. He remains optimistic that once the issues are resolved, the Maranello team will be back to where they aim to be. Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur has urged people to avoid drawing a generic conclusion over the form of Charles Leclerc, with his driver having endured difficult results since winning the Monaco Grand Prix. Fred Vasseur explained the reasons behind his struggles at Silverstone over the weekend, driving an unfamiliar car setup in difficult conditions in a Ferrari that is proving not easy to handle as it stands. On top of that, the Ferrari team principal mentioned that while the team is aiming to support Leclerc, there is an element of trying to compensate for their current form, which he believes is a mistake. He emphasized the importance of avoiding generic conclusions about Leclerc's recent performance, advocating for a thorough analysis instead. He noted that the car has been challenging to drive in the last 2 races, particularly during qualifying sessions. He highlighted the difficulty Leclerc faced with the new package on Friday, transitioning from a wet FP3 to a dry qualifying session without prior experience in the updated car. Fred Vasseur acknowledged that Leclerc was performing well until turn 13 and was faster than Russell up to that point in Q2. However, he admitted that the team is operating at the car's limit and making more mistakes under these challenging conditions,